Gregg Peterson, Regional Director for Middle East, SAARC and Africa. We're here speaking about VeeamOn at the VeeamOn Forum, which is a global event for Veeam. And really what we're mentioning is that all companies are literally becoming software companies. We have the ability to access applications from any device at any time, anywhere. And this is the reality of the situation. All our customers, we speak to them, they all have some sort of software and applications in their environment. You cannot run a company nowadays without software. It's just impossible. Not only is the software there and the applications are there and the access to the data, but now it's become 24/7 by 365. We have, for example, some customers who are running a cruise liner, for example, 15 cruise liners. There is no cash. It's a cashless system. People walk around for a whole week using only a card to buy things, to do things, to gain access to things, and this is all driven by software in the background. The reality is this has to be up 24/7. You can't have customers on a cruise liner not being able to pay or access certain locations, attend events without being able to transact. Not only that, this is live data that's obviously on the ship, but this data needs to be protected in a remote site, basically replicated from the ship or the cruise liner to a centralized data center, much like a remote or branch office scenario, which is what a lot of our customers are utilizing Veeam for. So the reality is you've got 24/7 by 365. So Veeam recently did a survey to understand in terms of what the business is expecting and what customers and end users ultimately are expecting, but what IT can deliver in terms of the expectation. And 84% of CIOs and IT decision makers admitted to an availability gap between what business expects and what IT can deliver. 96% of these respondents admitting to not being able to provide the SLAs with their current infrastructure and saying that they will be looking to make changes to the infrastructure in order to close this availability gap. The problem with the availability gap is also the cost of downtime. So what we saw amongst 1,400 customers globally, of which 30 of those were based in Africa as well, is that the cost of this downtime has actually risen as well to, on average, $16 million per organization. The reason is the following. More and more business critical applications are being virtualized, or as we term, moved into the modern data center. Not only is that the cost of the actual downtime, but there's also the soft costs, the cost of the reputation, the cost of loss of customers, this sort of the immeasurable stuff. And these customers, the IT decision makers and CIOs admitted that this was also part of the problem. And this is where Veeam really comes into it, because Veeam helps customers fulfill this availability gap. And one of the biggest reasons they all admitted as to why this gap was so big was because even though they've moved to a modern or virtualized data center, these customers are still relying on legacy systems from the past in terms of the migration from physical to virtual to cloud. However, they haven't developed all the technologies to adapt to the modern data center and the new SLAs. Veeam closes this gap. Veeam's able to provide RTPOs of around 15 minutes for our customers utilizing our existing tools. So using Veeam Backup and Replication and Veeam One, Veeam can provide these SLAs in one site or many sites, whether it's within country or even around the globe, using Veeam's technology. Veeam has also announced Veeam Availability Orchestrator 2 weeks back, which will help customers in the event of disaster for planning, effective planning of disasters, and God forbid in the event of a disaster, simply at the push of a button having guarantees that they can keep this business up and running. If you can imagine companies like Uber and Airbnb, if they're down for 1 second or 2 seconds, it costs millions of dollars. Veeam doesn't do this on our own. We have a strong partner network. Of course, we certified on the hypervisors VMware and Microsoft Hyper-V. We originally announced the first storage platform was HPE 3PAR. We then announced integration with NetApp and then EMC VNX VNXE. And today we've announced integration with Nimble Storage as well. So this ecosystem is growing, and these partners also rely on Veeam to help them close the availability gap. Veeam is a channel-driven business, and we will continue to be 100% channel-focused. Cloud is a big thing for Veeam, but specifically in Africa and South Africa, we're doing really well in the cloud space. Customers and partners are seeing that how Veeam Cloud Connect can unlock the ability to provide disaster recovery as a service and backup recovery as a service. Again, I'm Gregg Peterson, Regional Director for Middle East, SAARC and Africa.